What's up, YouTube? This is Plant-Based Booch. I like eating plants just as much as I like smoking them, and I'm coming back at you with some nice pop culture content. I've been trying to watch some offbeat Christmas stuff as we're leading up into the holidays. I decided to revisit Iron Man 3. If you have any thoughts on this movie, tell me down below in the comments. Go for it. If you like the stuff I have to say, sub, like, do what you gotta do. If you want to see more of me. And with that out of the way, let's talk about Iron Man 3. A dear friend was over recently, and this friend said, hey, I want to rewatch Iron Man 3. I've only ever seen it once in theaters. I didn't like it. I saw it a couple times in theaters and didn't like it. So we watched it now. We watched it the other day. We watched it recently. And I have to say there are a lot of things that bring this movie up for me and a lot of things that bring it down. Like, it is very dated. I think that the performances are really great. I think that the actors are charismatic. They commit to their roles. They do a really great job with what they're given. There's a lot of fun back and forths. We have some really great dialogue, very quippy. We see Tony Stark, you know, at his best. He's always fun. Robert Downey Jr. is always fun as Tony Stark, and he's quipping back and forth with this kid and pretty much everyone he comes into contact with. But I'm here for it. What I'm not here for is a lot of the convenience in the plot. Like, within the first several minutes, they're just hitting us with all of this exposition, and then years later, everything is coming together just perfectly. One time, Tony Stark met this guy who was able to cure his cerebral palsy and become sexy and rich later on, and because Tony Stark was mean to him and disregarded him, and then he also disregarded this woman, but not before she tells us that she's working on this thing called extremis, which is just one letter off from extremist. And that's a theme in the movie. Coincidence? I think not. There's a lot of convenience in this plot. My favorite thing is how Tony finds out about this dude Taggart in Tennessee or whatever, just after finding out that, no, does he find out that these people explode? No, I think he finds out later after having this amazing holographic technology. Whatever. I'm not going to recap the entire film. He ends up in Tennessee. He's out of his suit, and this happens to be the place where a very similar explosion or bombing happened, like the one that happened at the Chinese theater with Happy.
I guess this guy named Chad Davis, he's won a bunch of medals in the Army. One day, folks said he went crazy and made, a bomb.
Speaking of which, something I did like is this whole PTSD arc that we started exploring. I'm not going to say it was expertly done, but I like the theme. I like what they're going for. I like that, Tony Stark is suffering PTSD from New York, from the wormhole.
Giant wormhole in New York. Do you need a plastic bag to breathe into? How did you get out of the wormhole?
We see that he's gone kind of manic in creating all of these suits of armor because he wants to protect everything. Suit of armor around the world. That's my attempt. I'm gonna get Tony Stark's cadence down.
I see a suit of armor around the world.
Was a suit of armor around the world. Remember that?
Suit of armor around. Anyway, so he's coming up with all of these different armors. He's really losing himself in his work. He's literally injecting the technology into him. Like, this guy can't feel safe enough. He feels so insecure. He's seen how small he is in the grand scheme of things. And similarly to that, we have all of these veterans who are part of this extremis program, and their whole thing is having to regulate. And if they can't regulate this extremis that's been put inside of them, then they will explode. I think it's, also kind of a metaphor for, for being able to regulate your emotions after suffering trauma and having to move forward. It's not your fault this happened to you, but it's your responsibility to work through it. Like, yeah, this thing has happened, but, and it's terrible, but also if you don't regulate yourself correctly, you can become explosive and become dangerous to those around you. Now back to Tony, we see that he is now without his armor. He put himself in a situation, he made a very impulsive decision to give his address away. I feel like anyone could have come to his address, not just the Mandarins folks, but whatever. He ends up outside of his armor, and we have this really cool arc. We get to see who Iron Man is without the iron. Who is the man beneath the suit? Is he still able to get the job done? Is he still able to be a hero? I'm not gonna say that there's a lot of Christmassy themes in the film. Like, they tie it back and they talk about Christmas. They play a Christmas song here or there. They have a lot of Christmas trees. I only saw one menorah, and it was like for an eighth of a second. I'm not trying to say anything. I just think it's a weird coincidence. There were a lot of Christmas trees in as many shots as there could be. We also get to see Rhodey outside of his armor, and we get to see what he can do. It's interesting. Everybody ends up in the Iron Patriot armor. It's like the Village Bicycle. Everyone's had a ride, you know? Rhodey spends this... I got Bad Boys vibes for some reason. He has all of these wild action sequences. He's only wearing a green polo, but you know what? He gets the job done. He's fun. One part that isn't fun with him is... he does end up trying to hunt down the Mandarin, and I think he goes to Pakistan. And I don't know if they really establish whether or not these people are terrorists. He just, boom, like drops in.
Boom, you looking for this?
Like holds a gun up to them. It seems a little on the nose, is what I'm saying. They're very flippant about foreign relations, but I guess that's the time.
The second you give evil a face, a Bin Laden, a Gaddafi, a Mandarin, you hand the people a target.
It was at the time that we had become so used to certain stereotypes and stigmas. That was just pretty normal, and it was totally justified that War Machine came out of nowhere with red, white, and blue, just threatening these dudes with a Gatling gun on his shoulder. One last thing that was really weird for me, going back, I feel like a lot of the lines are cringy. The writing is just abhorrent in some places. Tony Stark, he just had this brawl with this, once again, this woman who conveniently is there to meet the wife of the woman who Tony is also there to meet. She happens to always be at that bar, so that just worked out. But anyway, he has this brawl with this explodey girl.
You walked right into this one. I've dated hotter chicks than you.
That's all you got? Cheap trick and a cheesy one-liner?
Sweetheart, that could be the name of my autobiography.
And then when he's on his way out, he's calling Rhodey, and he says,
You ever have a chick straddling you and you look up and suddenly she's glowing from the inside out, kind of a bright orange?
Yeah, I've had that. Who is this?
and it was just so weird. Like, I know, I'm thinking about recent Tony Stark. The man is a father. The man is a father. Well, he was a father, and he gave his life for us. That's how I want to remember Tony Stark. Not as the weird misogynist Tony Stark.
I'm just gonna try to get my beak wet real quick. You know what I'm talking about? Oh, come on, let's go in the bedroom.
You don't remember. Why am I not surprised?
Don't take it personally. I don't remember what I had for breakfast.
It was just one night.
Yep,
That's how you did it, isn't it?
it was a great night.
Well,
And then this brilliant scientist woman ends up getting taken advantage of for her research, as is, you know, the pattern in real life. And except toward the end of it, Tony guilts her by saying like, "Oh, I didn't end up with you, and I'm glad because you don't have a soul," or something like that. That's enough to turn her around, and she gives herself up for him, and ends up getting shot.
let him go. 1,200 cc's, a dose half of this size, I'm dead. What happens to your soldiers? What happens to you? What happens if you go too hot?
Boom, you looking for this?
High-level position has just been vacated.
Overall, the movie has some really fun stuff. Happy Hogan is ridiculous as usual. They don't really tie that up. I guess he just ends up watching what I thought was Downton Abbey. I've never actually seen the show. The film is absolutely unnecessary. It's not integral to the Avengers plot in any way, shape, or form. He gives up his armor and then takes all the shrapnel out of his chest, has no reason to do the arc reactor thing, and then goes right back into it for the next adventure. Just because, even after exploding all of his armor for Christmas. So yeah, absolutely unnecessary. Definitely has some fun moments. I like a lot of the interactions that he has with the fanboys that he comes into contact with. Once again, weird how a lot of the humor did not age well. But yeah, what did you think about Iron Man 3? Do you think it's worthy of being called a Christmas movie? Share your thoughts below. Did you trip up on the same stuff that I tripped up on? Are there any offbeat or weird Christmas or holiday movies that you think I should watch? Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next time. Plant-Based Booch out.